Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another what's in my makeup travel bag slash my long-lasting makeup routine. I just got back from traveling for work and I was gone for about 2 weeks and I was doing the same makeup routine every day, and I brought my favorite travel bag, which is this one by the brand Kestrel, I believe it's called. I got this from Nordstrom's Rack. And it has a compartment for brushes and a deeper compartment for all your makeup. So yeah, if you guys would like to see my long-lasting makeup routine, then you know what to do. So I always start off my face with my Smashbox primer water. And this stuff is great. I've mentioned it before. It's just a great way to hydrate your face, and it really helps my foundation adhere to my skin. And I do use this twice in my routine. And then I just fan it. Then next I would use my NARS primer eyeshadow base. And I just like to do all my priming first and just get it out of the way. And I love this stuff because it really does make your eyeshadow last longer. It doesn't really cover up any discoloration because it's translucent, but it is a really nice base. I've been using this stuff for years, and yeah, it worked out really great for me. And for foundation, I brought my Cogendo Aqua Foundation in the shade 143, and I applied that with my Sonia Kashuk beauty sponge to apply that. And I'm still loving this foundation. It lasts so long. It gives a really nice medium-ish coverage, and it's a very skin-like finish. And I spend a lot of time just working that into the skin. So using pouncing motions, obviously, with the beauty sponge. I'm just really pressing that into the skin and making sure I'm getting all the necessary areas down my neck, on my ear, behind my ear, because in the hotel lighting it's almost kind of hard to see, you know, what spots you're missing because the lighting is so crappy. But I made it work. For concealer, I used my NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer in the shade Macadamia, and I still love this concealer. It lasts really long, it has really nice coverage. For me, I feel like it's that perfect in-between of not being like too full coverage and like not too sheer. And I don't really experience any creasing with this as long as I set it. But I feel like it's hard not to find a concealer that like doesn't crease, because your eyes fold and you know it's kind of inevitable. But this one, for me, I think it just works the best on my skin type, and I do have really dry under eyes, and it doesn't really make them, it doesn't accentuate the dryness, so that's why I continue to use this one. I've tried other ones, but to me nothing compares. So yeah, you all are gonna think I am like super excessive, but I did bring like 3 powders with me. So for my under eye setting powder, I brought my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish powder in the shade medium, and I use my Real Technique setting brush to set that under my eyes. And I also set where I put the primer on my eyelids, just because, you know, I'm a creature of habit. That's what I like to do, because I feel like most eye primers kind of have a little bit of tackiness to them. So when I apply eyeshadow, if it's not set with the powder, I feel like it does kind of leave a little bit of a drag just because of the tackiness. So that's why I always put powder over it. And to set my entire face, I brought my Stellar Haze powder, and I am still loving this powder. It is so great. If you want your makeup to last all day long, this is the product. Now, I do have to make a sort of side note that I did bring my Hourglass Veil setting powder, and my feelings about this has not changed. I would use this to set my face every other day that I wasn't setting it with this powder. And I just don't get the hype of this. And I've mentioned it 1,000 times that I am super dry. So anything that accentuates my dryness, like, I don't like. However, this powder is not a long-lasting powder because I was working between 8 and 12 hours a day. And when I wore this powder, by the end of the day, I looked like a grease ball. Like, not like I was sweating, like completely greasy. And I was like, what? Because their diffuse lighting powders usually make me look really dehydrated. Whereas this one, it made me look super greasy. So my feelings haven't changed. I still think this product is super overhyped, and I only like using it to buff out like my bronzer or blush, or to diffuse anything that I overdid on my face. But to set my face, I do not like that powder. But anyways, setting it with my haze powder and using my Sephora Pro Precision, oh my god, I can't say that word, Pro Precision powder brush in the number 59. For bronzer, I brought my Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer, and it worked out really nice for me. I still don't like the smell of it, but the color's been nice for my skin tone, and it's just a really easy bronzer to use. Just make sure to get into your hairline. This bronzer does show up a bit warm on my skin tone, but that's what bronzer is for, right? And I just apply that to all the typical areas. I like to apply a lot on my forehead just to make it appear a little bit more small. And I also apply it down my contour areas, right in that hollow. Also getting into the hairline right there, and down the jawline, kind of over my ear. I only brought one blush with me, and that was the NARS Madly blush, and I would use a MAC 129 to apply that. And this is just a really pretty kind of neutral warm color. It really goes with any look, anything you're wearing. It's just a great overall blush. That's why I only brought one. And for highlight, I only brought one highlighter as well, and that is the NARS Rev Soleil blush, or excuse me, highlight. And I've mentioned it before that I think it's really great for everyday wear. It's not super reflecting or metallic or anything. It's just really natural looking, just gives a good sheen to the skin. And I think you can still purchase this. I know it was limited edition, but I think they're still selling it at Nordstrom. I think that's the only place they were selling it, actually. Oops. And then it's at this point in my routine that I like to set all the powders down with the Smashbox primer water. And I just think this really locks in all those powders and sets them down to look more like a skin finish. And I kid you not, this makeup look lasts a long time. And I'm just going to use my beauty sponge to kind of press into my skin, and it just kind of melts, is that a word? Just kind of like brings everything together and like sort of pushes it into the skin so there's nothing laying on top of your skin. And yeah, this makeup routine, it lasts all day long. I mean, 8 to 12 hours just in my work day. I was still wearing makeup after that, but I didn't have to do any touch-ups. So this is a foolproof routine. For brows, I brought my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Taupe. And I really don't like to do anything fancy with my brows just because, I don't know, I don't feel like I have really defined brows, and when I try to like really fill them in, it just looks too much. So I just kind of focus on the tail end because that's where the most sparse areas are. And I just kind of fill them in at the ends, and in the front, if there's any little bald spots, I'll just make little hair-like strokes. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna spend like an hour filling in my brows because I don't really care that much. I'm just going to work. But you know, just to give them some shape and make them look a little bit more full. That's all I really do. Then I would just take this Benefit brow gel to lock all those hairs in place because I have very curly eyebrow hairs and throughout the day they get super crazy, so I really can't go without a brow gel. Just really glues them into place. For eyeshadows, all I brought was my Z palette with all my favorite eyeshadow singles, and I literally did the same look every single day. I didn't change it up at all, so I really could have brought even a smaller palette. All I used was like, I think 1, 2, 3 eyeshadows in this entire palette, and I did the same thing every single day. And I used the same 3 brushes, which were the MAC 224, the MAC, whatever this one is, I think it's the 233. It's either 233 or 239, I never know what this brush is called, and a Morphe E18. So we have a pencil brush, a blending brush, and a packing brush, eyelid brush, I don't know what these are called. And what I would use is the shade Kid from MAC, Soft Brown from MAC, and Orb from MAC. Literally every single day. And it's just a really neutral look. I would use the blending brush to dip into Kid and then dip a little bit into Soft Brown and just mix the two. And it creates this warm brown transition shade. And I would start off on the outer corner and just dab it and then sort of blend into the crease and just go back and forth. And then I would just build that up until I got the pigmentation that I desired. And then I would take that MAC packing shader brush or whatever and dip it into the shade Orb, which is just this sort of like, what kind of color is this? It's like a pale, it's not white, it's like a peachy shell color. I have no idea how to describe that, but I use it a lot, obviously. It's one of my favorite shades, and I would just pack that all over the eyelid. Is it a bone shade? It's not really gray, so it's not a bone shade. It's more of like a peachy. And then I would just dip back into Kid and Soft Brown again and just go back over the outer corner and crease one more time. And that is all I would do for the eyelid portion. And then I would take this NARS, what is this? It's like a cream eyeliner, cream colored eyeliner. I think it's called Bonaparte, or sorry, Rue Bonaparte. And I would just place that on the lower lash line. And it kind of gets in my eyelashes a little bit, so I would take the Morphe E18 and dip into Kid and Soft Brown and just drag that on the lower lash line, which kind of cleans up any of the eyeliner that kind of fell. And it also, in a way, kind of like blends out any concealer that might have like creased. And it sort of opens up your eyes, so I love doing this. So I applied my eyeliner and mascara off camera because that's boring, but yes, I would do winged eyeliner every day. That's who I am, that's who I'll probably always be. but my favorite eyeliner is still the Burberry Jet Black Cat eyeliner, and my favorite mascara is still the Voluminous Lash Paradise by L'Oreal. It's so good. And for the lower lash line, I've been using the MAC Extended Play mascara. And yeah, use those every single day. And last but not least, I did bring a few different lip options in this little baggie, but I tended to wear the same thing almost every day. So I did bring 3 lip liners. Again, I use these all the time. The Milani No. 3, the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude, and MAC Whirl. But I think the one I use the most is the Milani No. 3. It's just a really great neutral color, especially for my lips. I feel like I have more pigmented lips, so for me this color really works. And I brought 4 different lipstick options, and these are all some of my favorites. The YSL No. 7 Tatouage lipstick, still one of my very, if not very favorite lipstick. Tom Ford Evan lipstick, Charlotte Tilbury Very Victoria, and the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade London. And I think what I wore the most was my YSL No. 7. It's just really great. It's a beautiful kind of neutral pink shade. And that is the makeup that I wore every single day for almost 2 weeks straight. And I just kind of got into this routine, so I was really fast about putting it on, and it lasts all day long. And I'm one of those people who sits at a desk all day, and I'm resting my face on my hands and just going out and about, driving to and from places. So this is a solid, long-lasting makeup routine that I stand by, and I'm just really happy with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.